Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Buckle up because today's news is a wild ride. We're diving deep into these stories to uncover what's really going on and how you can protect your investments. From XRP's $2.4 billion mystery to Ray Dalio's game-changing advice and a record-breaking Bitcoin buy. We've got the insights that you need to stay ahead. Plus, we will be heading over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening in the financial world right now. We'll head over to Forex Factory and find out all the red folder news that you need to know about this week. We're going to dive deeper into this open interest sheds $2.4 billion for XRP. Is a crash next? Plus, we'll dive deep into strategy buys 21,000 Bitcoin and the price went down. And billionaire Ray Dalio suggests holding 15% of your money in gold or Bitcoin as a hedge against devaluation of fiat. This is absolutely incredible. Most people have been talking about 1%, 2%. Ray Dalio, one of the best investors, 15%. We'll dive deeper into that. And at the end of the video, we're going to be jumping into the XRP charts, looking for areas of support and resistance that you need to know about. Plus, we will look at our long-term and short-term momentum waves. So if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the crypto news like we do for you here every day on this channel, make sure you subscribe right now. And if you are feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below.
Have you built a crypto portfolio over $1 million but want to access your wealth without selling any of your coins? Well, imagine unlocking up to 85% of your portfolio's value to fund ventures like real estate, to buy other projects in the crypto space that are undervalued compared to the projects that you currently hold, or to diversify into different DeFi yield opportunities. That way you can live on the interest without selling any of your crypto. Well, we've partnered with a leading global office offering non-recourse crypto loans for investors with portfolios starting at $1 million. The same company that is trusted by the world's largest institutions and investors because, as you already know, the billionaires don't sell their crypto, they borrow against it. So if you're ready to unlock up to 85% of your portfolio's value without selling any of your coins and you have a portfolio with at least $1 million, then email us at team@bullrunners.com. You're going to see our email contact in the description below, and we'll get you connected with the company that has helped clients like ours north of $100 million borrow against their crypto without selling any of it. So reach out to start a conversation with our team right now at team@bullrunners.com, and we'll talk to you soon.
First things first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap. Check out the overall health of the crypto market today. As you can see, we are coming in at $3.88 trillion total market cap. That is down 0.43% in the last 24 hours. We do have $167 billion worth of trading volume. Fear and Greed Index coming in at 63. Altcoin Season Index hovering at 38 out of 100. Yesterday was a 38 as well. Last week was pumping to 43. We were all the way up into the 50s before this most recent pullback. Bitcoin dominance still indicating a 60%. Remember, we need to see this break down below 60 for altcoin season to really have a chance. Checking in with the Bitcoin ETF tracker, as we talked about yesterday, was a positive inflow. Unfortunately, today, we are seeing an outflow, $83 million worth of outflow. As you can see, we were having significant volume coming into Bitcoin's ETFs, retail traders getting involved through their institutions that they trade with. Unfortunately, volume has been declining significantly. When we zoom out and look at the weekly charts, we were doing fantastic up until last week when we had a dump off from volume where we were at $2.3 billion 2 weeks ago. Last week, all the way down to only 144 million. And this week, 73 million. And today was a minus 83 million. So we are trending to the downside. Ethereum ETF tracker, as you can see, volume was pumping along with price of Ethereum. And recently it has starting to decline as well. We actually had a negative outflow day, minus 5 million for the ETF tracker for Ethereum. But take a look at how well we were doing. Absolute crazy volume coming in to the ETFs for Ethereum. This week, still positive. We'll continue to track this every day. Make sure you subscribe if you're getting value from this channel. Top 6 cryptos by total market cap. Number 1, Bitcoin coming in at $118,000. Ethereum number 2 at $3,800. XRP at number 3 at $3.11. Tether at less than $1. This is absolutely crazy. Are we depegging on Tether? Just kidding. It's 99998, but that is really interesting because it is nearly always BNB at number 5 at $799, and Solana wrapping up at number 6 at $180. Checking in at Forex Factory, what you need to know will be happening this morning at 5 a.m. When you're watching this video, it will be out. The ADP non-farm employment change will be coming out. Now, the important news that happened today, which you guys all saw come out, was the JOLTS job openings. Now, the JOLTS job openings was forecasted at 7.5 million jobs. And unfortunately, it came out at 7.44 million jobs. So traditional finance markets were having a down day. Crypto continued to have a down day as well. The biggest, most important news to watch for tomorrow is at 11 a.m. Pacific time. The federal funds rate will be coming out. Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve will announce, will they reduce the rate? It's forecasted for 4.5. Will it be less? Do you think they're going to lower rates? Let me know down in the comment section, yes or no. Then big news coming out Thursday, unemployment claims, and also big news Friday, the non-farm employment change. We'll keep you updated with all of these numbers as they come out each day. Heading over to X to look at all the breaking news happening right now. Just in, BlackRock is predicting that the Federal Reserve will not lower interest rates. Now, I know you guys at this point should have guessed yes or no if you think they're going to lower rates. BlackRock says they're not. I personally think they are not. Remember, Jerome Powell and Donald Trump are at an extreme feud with this whole scenario when it comes to the interest rates. So we'll see what happens, but I don't believe they're going to be reducing rates until the upcoming September rate cut option. Hey, by the way, while you're here on X, do not forget to follow us over on Bull Runners. We do have a free giveaway, $100. We're giving away every single week worth of XRP to the winner. Congratulations to Rose Cut 8 for winning our previous giveaway. It's really easy to win. All you have to do is follow us, like, retweet, and comment below, and subscribe to our Crypto Daily newsletter by clicking the link right here. You will also get our free ebook, Altcoin Secrets, the underground guidebook to becoming a crypto millionaire. Just click the orange button, enter your best email, and then click the orange button again, and you're all set. And remember, in order to win, you have to do all of these things. So if we take a look here right now, there's 115 likes, 91 shares, and 100 comments. That means that literally you're competing against 91 people at a maximum if you were to enter at this exact moment. So get in there, make sure you enter for your free money. And a report that came out from Ripple, their own research report, reveals 90% of global finance leaders expect blockchain to disrupt finance within 3 years. It's already happening right now, as you know, if you've been paying attention. By the way, if you're watching right now, you are a genius for being here. You are early. Make sure you subscribe. Smash that thumbs up. Also, huge breaking news. Paul Atkins, the SEC chairman, comes out and says, I am pleased to share that the SEC approved in-kind creations and redemptions for crypto ETPs. The approval continues to build a rational regulatory framework for crypto, leading to a deeper and more dynamic market, which will benefit all American investors. So what this means is when you invest, like we just talked about, the Bitcoin ETFs, the Ethereum ETFs, and also now the ETPs, when you're investing in the Solana ETP, the XRP ETP, and so on and so forth, when you're investing in those, you can now redeem them for a one-to-one. If you invested for 1,000 XRP and you want to pull it out of your brokerage, you, instead of getting them cashed out, they can actually send you in kind, meaning they'll send you XRP. The items that you have invested in, they'll send them to you. Also big, Standard Chartered Bank sees Ethereum hitting 4,000 by the end of 2025 if the buying continues. Now, as we saw in the ETF, the buying has cooled just a tad, but we're going to take a look at XRP in the charts. Most of the cryptos are running on the same support and resistance levels, obviously different dollar amounts, but it looks like we could have a consolidation period for the next 5 to 7 days, then continuation of buying for Ethereum to the upside. Treasury firms now hold 1% of supply, outpacing Bitcoin. So there are companies out there now doing the MicroStrategy strategy on Ethereum, not just Bitcoin. Also big news just in, China's Bitcoin mining giant Bitmain plans to open its first United States factory in Texas or Florida by the end of Q3 2025. So this whole tariff scenario and this, that, and the other, Donald Trump is wanting to onshore, President Trump is wanting to onshore jobs in manufacturing and Bitcoin and AI into the United States. Well, this here seems to be step number one, getting China to put a factory in the United States for their mining facilities. And just last night, after I recorded the video just in, BlackRock buys 34,095.49 Ethereum worth $132 million. So as you can see, big players, institutional players are buying Ethereum. And then when you look at the ETFs, that is your standard everyday retail investor telling these institutions, hey, I want to buy Ethereum through you, the institution. So very interesting to see these massive buys coming through. So next we have Ray Dalio dropping his bombshell. The founder of Bridgewater and Associates says that you should be putting 15% of your portfolio in Bitcoin or gold to protect against currency devaluation. This is a huge shift from where his 2022 advice, where he was saying 1 to 2%, as we mentioned earlier. And why the change, though? Well, Dalio is worried about the United States' $36.7 trillion debt, which is a debt doom loop where the government keeps borrowing like $12 trillion in new treasuries next year alone in 2026. And the reason this is a big deal is Dalio is one of the biggest names in finance, and his endorsement could push more institutions into crypto. And he's calling Bitcoin and gold effective diversifiers because they hold value when fiat currencies like the dollar lose purchasing power. But he's still a little skeptical about Bitcoin as a reserve currency due to its transparency, and governments can track every single move. So for you, this means diversification is key. A mix of Bitcoin, gold, XRP, Ethereum, and other coins could shield your portfolio from inflation spikes or market crashes. But don't go all in, Dalio says. 15% is your sweet spot for risk and reward. Now, this is his opinion, not my opinion. I am not a financial. Do not buy or sell tokens because we talk about it on this channel. Next up, we have to dive into this scenario with XRP. As we know, we've been on a nice surge to the upside, but open interest in the XRP futures just dropped by a staggering $2.4 billion. And for those of you guys that are new to the game, open interest is the total value of outstanding futures contracts. So people betting on XRP, basically it shows how much money is being bet on XRP price moves up and down. And when it tanks like this, it often means traders are pulling out, expecting trouble. XRP has fallen 15% since that $3.60 on July 18th. And this move was also accompanied by $2.4 billion sell-offs. Traders now fear that their routine market volatility could trigger cascading liquidations, potentially dropping XRP below $2.60. The chart above clearly shows that leverage fueled that 68% rally between July 1st and July 18th, when XRP climbed to $3.66 from $2.17. Now, why this matters is because a sharp drop-off in interest can signal a lack of confidence, which could push XRP's price down. And some analysts are even whispering of a potential crash. XRP's been testing resistance around $3.25 recently, and mixed signals from derivatives data aren't helping either. But here's the flip side. Some see this as a shakeout before the rally, especially with Ripple's new patent positioning XRP as a swift alternative for cross-border payments. If institutional ETFs keep driving momentum, analysts predict XRP could be $6 or even $36 in a bullish wave. So what should you do? Well, keep an eye on XRP's price action and watch for any SEC updates or ETF approvals. This could be the dip to buy or a warning to stay cautious. Strategy buys 21,000 Bitcoin with 2025's biggest public offering. Strategy, which does have the largest Bitcoin holdings among public companies, said on Tuesday that its latest buy was the average purchase of 117,000 per coin, bringing its total stash to 628,791 Bitcoin. And the purchase was the firm's largest since March 31st. Strategy marked as the largest IPO in the United States in 2025 in terms of gross proceeds. The deal was more than twice as large as the much anticipated $1 billion IPO for stablecoin issuer Circle, which went public back in June. Strategy said that STRC is set to start trading on the NASDAQ on Wednesday, positioning itself as the first U.S. exchange-listed perpetual preferred security issued by a Bitcoin treasury company to pay monthly. STRC is the latest one. Other ones include Strike STRK, a convertible share with an 8% fixed dividend, Strife STRF, non-convertible with a 10% cumulative yield, and Stride, which pays a 10% non-cumulative dividend. MicroStrategy or Strategy is now up 31.5% so far this year, a modest increase from 2024 when the company shares rose 358%. Strategy's latest purchase comes 2 days ahead of its second quarter earnings report on Thursday, which will show how the firm's capital raises and Bitcoin purchases up until June 30th impacted its balance sheet. Heading over to XRP in the charts, as we've been talking about a couple of weeks ago, it was very obvious that we had a bearish divergence appearing on the XRP charts on the weekly. So as we can see right here, momentum wave got real high when we got that max peaked out at $3.40. Then more momentum started to drop to the downside. We hit this really nice hidden bullish divergence that happened on the week of June 30th that coincided with our massive rally to the upside, but momentum did not continue its rally. It's actually kind of dying off, as you can see here, creating a new peak in the charts here and also creating momentum to the downside while price continued to rise to the upside. And that's why we're having a sell-off here. Now, that does not mean we have to have some crazy reset down to $2.30. However, that is a possibility. I'm only bringing this up because it is a possibility. We do have a fair value gap that gets us back into this level of $2.30. It needs to be filled. Personally, because we are still bullish on our weekly momentum indicator long-term, we're bullish on our 3-day momentum indicator long-term, and we're bullish daily as well. So there are tons of fair value gaps that need to get filled over time, but that's later when we do go into some sort of bear market cycle, which will be happening. But as we can see, when we're zooming in now on the daily charts here, we do have a very solid support level coming in at that $3 range. Price had dropped down pretty significantly to that level on July 23rd. It tried to break down to that level July 24th, July 25th, and then we've been battling back to the upside. Now we do have a local resistance happening at $3.29. We got a nice little spike through there. However, $3.29 is where the highest bodied candles that happened for us back in January occurred. So this is a very important area of interest because if you remember when we ran up to that $3.40 all-time high, well, it was just a spike to the upside. And then the next day we had another spike. But the bodied candles never continued growing for there. So that was actually our highest bodied candles coming in January, the middle of January 2025, all the way until we finally broke through that level on one massive candle on July 17th. So right now, that is going to be a very important area. As you can see, it's been fighting up there. So what we need to do is break this $3.29, then break that $3.40 all-time high. Then we can get back up into our most recent all-time highs. There is going to be a supply and demand zone. A lot of people in this area that went long, right? They got very excited. I'm going long. I'm going long. Well, when price gets here, all of those people finally get back to break even. They're not like, crapping their pants anymore that they're losing all this money. They're probably going to sell. So that we will have a challenge breaking through this level once we get there. But once we break through this $3.60 range, we get back into price discovery mode. Now let's jump over into our spider lines and see where those get us. All right, so taking a look at our spider lines, these are support and resistance lines from a period of time in the past that are projected them into the future. And they've been pretty spot on as far as finding relevant support and resistance areas. So right now you can actually see we're sitting on one of our spider lines right now. This is the spider line that comes to us from, if we follow our yellow line all the way back. And I know this is a very busy and mazy chart here, but February 19th, 2018 is where our current support level is coming from. And you can see that's exactly where we're bouncing off of. So once we break above the 10 exponential moving average, this is the next move I'm looking for. All right, so we're going to break above if we get bullish again. In reality, I think we're going to be consolidating between this $3.10 and $3.20 range for a little while. If we break above it before or after, I've got this marked off right here, August 9th. Anywhere between August 5th and August 9th, I think is where we're going to see our next real big move to the upside. We'll keep a close eye on that. But price breaking down to the, let's go bullish first, right? So we bounce off of this $3.10, move our way back up to $3.23. Then we break to the $3.40 level. Then we get to our spider line at 355. As you can see, the spider line was exactly spot on. Unfortunately, it worked as a resistance, even bodied candles. First, it was a wick, then we got through, then bodied candles, and unfortunately broke down. So anyway, 355 to 384. Okay, so up to 384. After we break 384, then we'll be at the 480 ranges. We'll start making some bigger moves, but we'll get to that later. That's just where we're at. I wanted to cover that long term, where we're going. Short term downtrend, if possible. If we break this 310, we're going to come back to $3. If we break the $3, luckily we do have our 30 exponential moving average here. It will come into play for us as a support, $2.94. If we continue that drop, then we'll reevaluate. Make sure you subscribe. We'll check back in on this tomorrow. Now, remember, our momentum waves, our short-term momentum wave has officially reset to 0. It can make a move whenever it's ready to make its move to the upside. Last time we reset to 0 was here, June 22nd. And then we started making our move to the upside. Lots of consolidation before a final breakout to the upside. But the good news is this whole drop and where we're sitting right now, it was just a move from 350 down to $3.12. So, I mean, in reality, 350 to 310, that's a 40-cent move. Totally fine. If we can sit here on consolidation and then make our 40-cent move back to the upside, but then stack on like we did here, $2.28 to $3.68, another $1.50 move to the upside. So another $1.50 move from here, from 310 plus $1.50 puts us at 460. How about 480, right? So that is the spider line for us as well.